everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Luisa. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're keeping busy. Have you finished your bargain bead box for August yet? I certainly have. I usually try to show you my finished pieces at the end of the month, and the reason is that I know some of you do not like to be influenced when you're trying to make your own designs. I get that because I'm exactly the same way, okay? I don't like to see previews, I don't like to see thumbnails, I don't like to see any of that because I personally do not want to be influenced. And I know a lot of you are the same way. Maybe not the beginners. Maybe the beginners want to see the finished pieces as soon as possible so that they can get inspiration. In any case, I always try to respect people's wishes because I have been told, Luisa, it's a little bit too early and you're influencing my design. Anyway, guys, I'm here to show you my finished pieces. And by the way, if you don't want to hear me talk, I do have the thumbnails down in the description so you can skip right to the finished pieces. But, you know, I always like to give a little bit of an introduction, and I like to talk a little bit in the beginning of my videos. I do want to talk a little bit about the box. The name of the box was called Elegance, and the main theme of the box was agate, which I absolutely loved. I loved the agate beads that they gave us. They were gorgeous. I didn't really like the yellow gold, to be quite honest. Maybe it's because I'm just not a gold person. I don't know, but gold is really difficult to work with sometimes because if you don't have the correct tone, your jewelry is going to look a little bit weird. By that I mean that, you know, the chain may be a little bit yellower than the components, that sort of thing. So I did notice a little bit of that in this month's box. But other than that, I was really happy with the beads, and I have one of the pieces on, as you can see. I love this one. I love these leaf components, and I love the pebble, the Botswana agate. Oh my gosh, I just love this. Anyway, guys, as you view my finished pieces, just remember that it's not necessarily the way I would design something, but it's the best that I can do with what I'm given, okay? And so I try to stick to the contents of the box as much as possible. And once in a while, I will add some pieces from my own stash, but for the most part, most of the jewelry pieces are made from the contents of the box. I always feel funny making a video showcasing my pieces because I don't think they're that great, but you know, compared to others that I see out there. I belong to a lot of beading groups, and I'm always astonished at the talent that's out there. Some of the photos that are posted are just absolutely amazing. Some of the pieces that you guys make are absolutely amazing. But anyway, guys, I've done enough talking, and I know you're anxious to see my finished pieces, so let's go ahead, turn the camera around, and we'll get started. Here's necklace number 1. As you can see, this is the necklace I had on a few moments ago. The main feature of this necklace are those beautiful curved branch pendant links. I simply link them together using some 6mm jump rings, strategically placing them just in the right place to hold them together. And then I created some beaded strands using those gorgeous Botswana agate pebble beads and a few of the larger 8mm polished agate rounds. I just love the colors of the Botswana agate, guys. Oh my gosh, they were so beautiful. When I took the necklace outside to photograph, I just couldn't believe how many colors I was seeing. As you can see, I created some sparkly beaded strands higher up the necklace. I felt I needed to emphasize that area a little more, and so I used the smoky topaz bicones, as well as some 4mm faceted gold check rounds that I had in my stash. I used 24 gauge wire to connect them and then attached each end to some chain that I had in my stash that was not so yellow. I felt that the roller chain they provided was a little too yellow for my liking. Plus, I wanted something a little daintier. So anyway, that was part of the reason why I had to use some thinner gauge wire so that I could connect everything. So for the strands that are hanging from the branch links, I used a thicker wire, I think it was 18 gauge. But for the beaded strands running up the top of the necklace, I used the thinner gauge because I wanted it to be a little bit more delicate. So anyway, overall, I thought this piece turned out pretty nice. I was pretty happy with it. Here's necklace number 2. This one features one of the 2 lovely teardrop pendants that we received. I absolutely loved the brass edge, which gave that pendant a more upscale look in my opinion. I thought this pendant definitely fit the description of elegance, but I also wanted to use the curved badge components. So in the end, this necklace looks elegant but casual at the same time. Bargain Bead Box did such a great job of providing us with beads that coordinate, and so I added the smoky topaz bicones to coordinate with the gray of the pendant. I built some beaded components to form the lower strand, which I attached to the curved branch connector links on either side of the pendant. And although those 6mm agate beads are red, it's a very subdued red, which gives everything a very coordinated look. It matched perfectly well with the other more neutral grayish colors. I did use the bright yellow roller chain that came with the box, but then I opted for a much finer chain for the upper tier, as you can see, where I featured 3 of those lovely Botswana agate pebble beads. I simply mounted them on some 26 gauge wire because I needed to be able to connect the loops into the small links of the dainty chain. That's one of the downsides of using that type of chain. You have to be able to connect components using thin gauge wire or very fine jump rings. But anyway, I was very satisfied with how this one turned out. I thought it turned out pretty nice. This is necklace number 3, a boho design using the large teardrop shaped chandelier focal. Boy, was it tempting to hang something from all those loops, but it would have been way too much. So I used some restraint and I wire wrapped some of the agate pebble beads along the bottom only, leaving the other loops free. I guess I could have done more, and I may at a later time add crystals or something else on the other loops, but for now, this is what I'm settling for. As you can see, I used 28 gauge wire to wrap the beads along the bottom, and I did try to tuck the ends in and make the wraps as uniform as I could so that it's wearable, but because the pendant won't be right up against your skin too much, I think it'll hold up okay. I also used one of the smaller chandelier findings they gave us by attaching it with a couple of jump rings at the top, which I actually later used to thread the leather cord through. I find that whenever you use more than one jump ring, it gives the component more stability and it prevents it from flipping or moving around too much. But anyway, for this boho look, I added some Tibetan style tubular beads on 1.5mm leather cord in a metallic brown color. I also attached a couple of the 8mm polished agate beads, which I topped off with a single size 8/0 seed bead to add a little bit of a gold element. And I used some teardrop shaped polished gemstone beads that I picked up at a gem show back before the pandemic hit. Unfortunately, I forgot to ask the vendor what type of gemstone they were, but they looked just like some of the agate beads in this collection, and they definitely were the same exact color as those beads. I also created an upper strand using thinner leather cord. I believe it was 1mm thick. And then I added the larger agate matte rounds that they gave us, along with the bead caps for the gold accents. And you probably can't see them too well, but I threaded on a couple of 6/0 seed beads, one on each end, to add a little bit more interest and to tie the whole thing in with a darker leather cord. So then to attach both strands, I used some fold over crimp beads with a loop on each end and attached some antique gold chain to finish the necklace. I've actually gotten away from using toggle clasps for all the necklaces because I find that my customers prefer lobster claw clasps. So that's what I used and have been using for almost all of my designs. So anyway, this is my boho necklace and I hope you like it. You're looking at necklace number 4. Okay guys, look, I'll be honest. That teardrop shaped hoop, I had actually made a set of earrings initially, but then quickly realized that it wasn't going to work out because of the weight. Since I'm still in my wire wrapping phase and have been for quite some time now, whenever I see hoops or anything that has a lot of empty space, I am tempted to work with it by doing some wire wrap beads. So that's what I did. I used the same kind of wire wrapping technique that I used in the necklace tutorial that I made about a month ago, and if you haven't seen that video, I will link it in the upper right hand side of the screen as well as in the description box. So yeah, after wire wrapping the beads, I realized that it would have been too heavy for an earring, and so I turned it into a focal pendant instead. As you can see, I wrapped the gemstones and bicones using 26 gauge wire. I started by wrapping the wire a couple of times on the hoop and then threading and twisting the beads on until the entire space was filled. So after doing all that, I then needed to find a way to incorporate the same type of look for the rest of the necklace. So I created some wire wrapped components and linked them with other components that I made using the matte agate round beads. And it's the exact same wire wrapping technique. I threaded on some beads onto a piece of wire, and then I twisted the entire component onto an eye pin. And as you can see, I finished off the necklace by linking those gorgeous elongated bicone beads in that gorgeous white jade finish. Oh my gosh, they were so beautiful, and I felt kind of bad that I used them all for this necklace, but you know what they say, you only live once, and I just wanted to make the entire necklace beautiful from top to bottom. I kind of wish they had given us more than just 10 in that strand. But you know, maybe they'll put it up on their sister site, Bead Box Bargains, at a later date, and you know that I'm going to buy them, so look out for those guys because they're going to sell pretty quickly. I absolutely love them. So this is my wire wrapped bead necklace. I thought it came out pretty nice. This is the 5th and final necklace design. I still have a bracelet and some earrings I want to show you, but as you can see, it's a lariat style necklace. When I saw those infinity links in the box, a lariat necklace is what popped into my mind immediately. But I wanted to keep it simple and minimalist because I've been trying to make at least one minimalist design with each box to satisfy the current trend. And you know, people always ask me about where I get the information about trends. The truth is that I just go with what's in my area. I live in the DC metropolitan area, and the women here wear mostly minimalist jewelry or no jewelry at all. That's just the honest truth. Now, I don't know what they wear in other parts of the country, but here on the East Coast, that's what I see the most. So I just go with the flow, guys. But anyway, as you can see, I kept it quite simple by using rather dainty chain and linking some simple components using the bicones and the sea opal colored rondelles. But as you can see, the main focal is that gorgeous teardrop shaped agate pendant that they gave us, which would have made a great earring since they gave us 2. But I opted to use it in this simple lariat design, and I'll probably use the other one in another minimalist style necklace. But I didn't want to bore you by featuring it here because, well, minimalist is just not that exciting to me. Sorry if I offended anyone. watching this video, but I just don't feel like I am being artistic or creative when designing tiny, barely there jewelry. But that's just me. I'm sure there are some wonderful jewelry artists who feel differently and have tons of customers chomping at the bit to buy their designs, but that's just not me. And here's my bracelet. I only made one. As you can see, it's a lovely 5-coil memory wire bracelet that I made using pretty much all of the leftover beads. I've been talking about a prototype that I'm currently developing to help you make these bracelets super fast and super easy without guesswork or rework. And I can't wait to show you guys. I love my prototype because I'm able to effortlessly thread the beads on and center the focal beads in a matter of minutes, which if you've done memory wire bracelets, you know what I'm talking about. It is really difficult to have a center focal on a memory wire bracelet when you have those coils. But anyway, my prototype makes it so ridiculously easy. I cannot wait to show you. It's taking me a little bit longer than usual because I need to research the materials I'll be using for my prototype. But I promise that I'll have it ready soon, and I'll be making an instructional video as soon as I have everything ready to go. And it's a prototype, so it's not going to be perfect. But I am applying for a patent because, you know, I think that it's a really great idea. And speaking of patents, oh my gosh, guys, that is so difficult. There's so much involved, so much paperwork. I'm not sure how far I'll get, but I'll give it my best shot. There's a little part of me that's a little worried that somebody like Beadsmith will find out about my prototype and steal my idea. But I'm just dreaming, guys, okay? I'm not saying that it's a miracle tool, but it definitely will make the job easier. So anyway, stay tuned for that in the coming weeks. And last but not least, I made a couple of simple earrings that I'll probably just give away as gifts when I sell a necklace. That's what Misty Moon Designs does. I try to include a little gift with every one of my sales, and it's usually a pair of earrings and some candy. That's part of the Etsy experience, to provide good customer service. Okay guys, that's the full collection. I hope you liked it. I was pretty happy with all the pieces in spite of the bright yellow findings. And as always, I'm going to put on one of these necklaces and I'll be right back to say goodbye. I chose this one. I'm still in my wire wrapping phase. Couldn't resist putting this one on. I think it looks gorgeous. And you know what I thought was going to be an earring turned out to be a gorgeous pendant necklace. So anyway guys, I hope you liked my video today. I hope you liked all my creations. I hope I've inspired you. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing so. And thank you to all my new subscribers. I really appreciate it. Have a great day and I'll see you next time. Bye.